Manchester United players in full pelt in preparations for the game of Brentford over the weekend, that is tomorrow, at the community stadium that capacitates 17,000 people in there for you. Man United going back, and Erik ten Hag is playing them at the stadium for the second time. Keeping in mind that the first time he played against them at the stadium, we lost by 4-0. It was an annihilation in the first half, and that was the second competitive Premier League game for the side of Erik ten Hag. But ever since then, Ten Hag has gone ahead to turn around his performances at the club of Man United, and results have gone ahead to start kicking in through for the club of Man United. And today we bring you how United players charged up for the Brentford game as players return from the international break. I think we had a couple of players that really went with the international break: Dalot, Maguire, Lindelof, John Evans, Kobe Mainoo, Eriksson, Bruno Fernandes, Scott McTominay, Amrabat, Garnacho, Rashford, Rasmus Højlund, and very many others. It's a long list just to mention but a few. As I told you in the match preview, that we are really blessed that only one player got an injury, and that is Harry Maguire, and the rest of the players are really fully fit, apart from Luke Shaw, Tyrell Malacia, and who else? Anton Martial. But the rest of the players are already available. And Casemiro, who is really a doubt, but he might really surprise us into this game of football. Happy Good Friday to all the Christians and the Muslims. Juma Karim and Ramadan Karim. And let's get straight into this. Let's continue to subscribe because we want to hit 17,000 subscribers before we really close this day. Guys, please, let's make this happen. 17,000 subscribers is what we are calling in for. And how many are we left with? Just 20 to obviously hit the magic number. And let's get straight into who was into the training session as United geared up. 300 likes should be smashed on this video to see that it trains and really goes miles. Let's go into who trained and who never really took part into the training session. Rafael Varane led the training sessions at Carrington. Remember, he retired from international break and he's fully charged for the remaining 10 games of the season. If at all he's fit, I think we can keep ourselves into that ilk of winning these beautiful games of football. And if at all you watch my match preview, he's among the players I tipped to start in that central defense as Man United takes on Brentford, and he has all what it takes to stop Ivan Toney and the likes of Wissers of the world. Then Dalot returning back in action after having gone ahead to play for Portugal in there for you as they lost Slovenia by 2-0. He has obviously gone ahead to do the needful, and to me he's one of the best decent right backs in the Premier League, pumping up to the levels that everyone wants him to be at in there for. That is Diego Dalot for you, and good to see him back in the training session. The way he has gone ahead to keep himself fit, it has been really reflected to the time he spent with Ronaldo, and Ronaldo told him how to keep himself fit to see to it that he doesn't really get injured again. He's the guy that is Diego Dalot, and that ever since he did that, the rest is history. Andre Onana in action, you know, he's really getting into the levels that everyone didn't really see him reach at, because he is one of those players that has gone ahead to be slated by very many people, but guess what? He has gone ahead to prove people wrong. Andre Onana is putting in a shift day in, day out for the club of Man United. Marcus Rashford, I was really excited to see him into the training session for the club of Man United, because he was one of those players that we are told he is really injured and he's not going to take part into the game of Manchester United. But good to see it that he's back. 3 goals in 3 consecutive games, and I think against Brentford he might be one of those to come in through and obviously put that ball into the back of the net. Anthony in the mix, obviously trying to really do what he does best as Anthony in the mix, obviously trying to do what he does best. And remember, I told you that he might find himself getting to the levels we expected him to be, because that goal it was against Liverpool just puts him into what we call a confidence boost that can really lead him to getting us to the levels where we, the people, or the fans of Man United, have always wanted him to be. And it's just time. It's just time for him left to obviously take us to the levels that everyone really wants him to be. So he might find himself on the bench because Rashford is here and Garnacho is also here. So he might come off the bench. And with the guy, Amad Diallo suspended, obviously he now has a chance to play part into the game of Brentford. Then Erik ten Hag was looking on and smiling as you see him there, trying to look at the players of Man United, and shows you how he was excited during the training session at Carrington, and the 52-year-old was really excited and moved with what was happening at the club of Man United. The captain, the Portuguese egg, that is Bruno Fernandes, returning freshly from Portugal. He just played one game last Tuesday. He has rested now for like 12 days without kicking a ball, and that charge is going to be really important for him in the game of Brentford, where we anticipate that he should lead the team to the victory that we've always gone ahead to urge for. Then keeping the ball, this is Rafael Varane, this is Diego Dallo, this is Lindelof, and these are the youngsters coming from the academy as they are trying to do what we call the rendo, if I'm not mistaken. It is it. You have to obviously come in through and really chase for that ball if you are this youngster into the mix. So it was really great to see to it that these three senior players were really taking on the youngsters, and the integration has always gone ahead to be really top notch in there for you. Then Rasmus Højlund making a tackle, seeing him really do this is really exciting, and the international break has gone ahead to do good for him. He has been out, for the previous 4 games. He returned as played against Liverpool, and he did the needful as a player. So him returning and taking action into the training session is a big boost for the club of Man United, and they are gonna feel him because the last time he played in the Premier League, 6 consecutive games, he was on target. Can he really take it to 7 consecutive goals scored for the club of Man United? That is what we are demanding for Rasmus Højlund to do into the mix. This is Harry Amas. You know him very well. Signed his first professional contract with the club of Man United. He clocked 17 years of age. Brilliant left back. I think we got him from, is it Wolves? And he's now, I think it's Watford, not Wolves. And he's now at Man United doing the needful, but he was part of the team that trained during the preparations for the game of the game of Brentford. Dallo and Andre Onana trying to obviously joke around. You see they're all smiles. The atmosphere is really huge, and it looks like these two are really having a very good bond, and this is what you would love to see between your defenders and the goalkeeper, meaning that if it's time for joking, it's time for joking, and when it's time for business to kick in, obviously it's business time in there. Then you have a wide shot, This is a wide shot of the players of United. Look, Eriksson in the mix. There is Lindelof, Rashford, but most of them, these 4 are really the youth that Ten Hag has gone ahead to give chance to get into the starting 11, the first team training sessions for the club of Man United to prove him that they're really good and ready to go. That is Man United for you. Then Erik ten Hag and Steve McLaren watching on the training session at Carrington as they prepare for the game of Brentford, which should be a must-win. For everyone who thinks it will be must-win, then football is not meant for you, because for us, we know why we need to win it. We shouldn't really lose points again. If Atoli had gone ahead to beat Fulham, would have gone ahead to be 3 points behind Tottenham Hotspur and 6 points behind Aston Villa with the game in hand. But that one loss put us very far from the top 4 permutations. But having seen Spurs lose, Aston Villa draw and lose, we are back into the permutations, and these two are really looking for us to win at Brentford in London. This is Aaron Wan-Bissaka returning to obviously put in a lot of effort as he plays on the left back position for the club of Man United as we take on Brentford. Remember, Mbeumo is back, and what a way to see it that Bissaka is going to be taking on Mbeumo in that game. Then Zach Buaman, this is the guy as he tries to really take on the likes of Rashford into the mix. Then Mason Mount obviously excited, clapping his hands, and you might find that his influence might be felt towards the end of the season. With 10 games left to play, if we knock out Brentford, we take them to 12. That means he can really play a very vital part into United going into the Champions League and then doing the needful to win the FA Cup. That is Mason Mount for you. Injuries have gone ahead to really stop him from obviously thriving game in, game out, but this time around it looks like he's ready to take on the needful. Bruno Fernandes and Amad Diallo all smiles during the training session, but we all know that Amad Diallo is not going to be given a chance to play into this game of football because he's suspended, but that prepares him to be fully fit for the game of Chelsea that we're going to be playing on Thursday next week. Then Ethan Whitley, Amad Diallo, Lewis Jackson and Bruno Fernandes obviously trying to keep the ball in a rendo, and it is really one of those practices that Ten Hag has always gone ahead to do at the club of Man United, to see to it that these players continue being press resistant and do the needful. Then Alejandro Garnacho, the Argentina assassin, is back in the mix, and he was on the training ground after playing for Argentina, and he made his first ever start for the side of Argentina. That is Alejandro Garnacho for you, doing the needful, thriving for the better. Shirt number 17. He did a lot in that last goal we scored against Liverpool when he really gave Amad Diallo a pass that really never looked well, but Amad Diallo did just his to it, and it really went in the back of the net. The assassin is expected to start against Brentford on the right attacking side of the midfield. Lastly, it has been Will Kambuala and Mason Mount. Obviously, Kambuala, he is just 19 years of age, into the training session of Man United and really taking us places as a side of Manchester United. So guys, that's how the players went ahead to train. No Casemiro, no Lisandro Martinez, no Tyrell Malacia, but we expect the update of the manager to come through anytime from now here onto the United Matters channel. As far as the game of Brentford is really concerned, if it requires for me to go in and really put in a live video, I'll come up and really do a live video talking to you on what the manager is going to have to say about who is available and who is not available. But all we know is that Luke Shaw, Harry Maguire, Anton Martial, those three are nowhere to be seen in this game of football. But don't be surprised if I told you here that Tyrell Malacia, Lisandro Martinez and Casemiro are all back in contention to start against the side of Brentford. Now, tell me your thoughts about United Brentford preparations in the comment section below. That's what happened at Carrington as players went ahead to prepare for this encounter. May the living to God bless you abundantly. Rokan David is my name. I sign out for now. See you later, and I cover you all in the precious blood of Jesus Christ. And may the living to God bless you abundantly. The Muslims, Juma Karim and Ramadan Mubarak. Don't forget to subscribe. We want to hit 17,000 subscribers before the end of today. 20 subscribers to go. Can we get them in only one video? Guys, we out. See you later, and a 5 fingers to everyone watching it through. Good afternoon. Rokan David is my name. United Matters channel is the YouTube channel. Ciao, ciao.